extinctions. Scientists have proposed that a new geological epoch should be named to recognize this dominance of our influence over natural processes on the planet, the Anthropocene, the recent age of humanity. But as a species, we are still inextricably linked to our planet, and the Earth's history is imprinted in our makeup, just as much as our activities have left their distinct marks on the natural world. To truly understand our own story, we must examine the biography of the Earth itself, its landscape features and underlying fabric, atmospheric circulation and climate regions, plate tectonics, and ancient episodes of climate change. In this book, we'll explore what our environment has done to us. In my previous book, The Knowledge, I set out to solve a thought experiment: how we might reboot civilization from scratch as quickly as possible after some kind of hypothetical apocalypse. I used the notion of the loss of all that we take for granted in our everyday lives to explore how civilization works behind the scenes. The book was essentially an investigation of the key scientific discoveries and technological innovations that enabled us to build the modern world. What I want to do this time is broaden the perspective, to discuss not just the human ingenuity that got us to where we are today, but to follow the threads of explanation back even further. The roots of our modern world stretch far back in time, and if we trace them deeper and deeper across the changing face of the Earth, we uncover lines of causation that often take us all the way back to the birth of our planet. Anyone who's ever chatted with children will know what I mean here. For an inquisitive 6-year-old asking about how something works or why something is the way it is, your immediate answer is never satisfactory. It opens up further mysteries. A simple initial question invariably leads to a whole series of why? But why? Why is that? With an unquenchable curiosity, the child tries to get to grips with the underlying nature of the world it finds itself in. I want to explore our history in the same way, drilling downwards through more and more fundamental reasons and investigate how seemingly unrelated facets of the world, in fact, share a deep link. History is chaotic, messy, random. A few years of poor rainfall lead to famine and social unrest. A volcano erupts and annihilates nearby towns. A general makes a bad decision among the sweaty clamour and gore of the battlefield, and an empire is destroyed. But beyond the particular contingencies of history, if you look at our world on a broad enough scale, both in terms of time and space, reliable trends and dependable constants can be discerned, and the ultimate causes behind them explained. Of course, our planet's makeup has not preordained everything, but profound overarching themes can nonetheless be distinguished. Our survey will reach over a staggering span of time. The entirety of human history has played out on an essentially static map, within but a single frame of the Earth's movie. But the world hasn't always looked like this, and although continents and oceans shift over geologically slow timescales, the past phases of the Earth have greatly influenced our story. We'll look at the changing nature of the Earth and the development of life on our planet over the past few billion years. The evolution of humans from our ape ancestors over the last 5 million years, the increase in human capabilities and dispersal around the world over the past 100,000 years, the progression of civilization over the last 10,000 years, the most recent trends of commercialization, industrialization, and globalization of the last millennium, and finally, how we have come to understand this wondrous origin story over the last century. In the process, we'll travel to the ends of history and beyond. Historians decipher and interpret humanity's written accounts to tell the story of our earliest civilizations. Archaeologists, brushing the dust off ancient artifacts and ruins,